Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of All Star with Mouse podcast. I'm Nick Labazetta.
And I'm Tony.
So, Anthony, what do you think of the news that has come out in the past couple of weeks about Walt Disney World, specifically Star Wars Land and Epcot?
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff. Last week, it was like we learned everything about Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
So for the Epcot, I'm pretty pumped about the entrance.
Yes.
I never liked the stones with the faces. We never had one, so it's not like I had any special connection to it. I just never cared. So I'm glad that's going to be going away. I like the fact it's going to be a lot of flowers, a lot of open spaces. And, as people know, I love water, so there's going to be a nice new fountain. And it looks really similar to the fountain that used to be in front of Epcot. So I'm liking that kind of retro, classic Epcot Center, early 80s feel that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you think of the play area that's going to replace Wonders of Life? Is that it?
Wonders of Life. That's where you go if there's a festival going on. It's like the festival center. Right now, I don't really know. I'm kind of shocked that they're actually using it for something. I didn't think that would happen. So I'm optimistic. From what they've said about it so far, I really don't have a good grasp on if it's going to be more of a kid place, if it's going to be, something more like Interventions. It doesn't seem like there's going to be a great standalone attraction. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I fear it's going to be a play area, like just for kids. And
I just don't know what,
I think that it'll be too much like IPs, so it's like
flying around.
Yeah, I saw their main picture. You see, I think the girl from Wreck-It Ralph, Penelope, and one other person from a different movie. So it looks like they're going to have multiple movies.
Thought I saw Joy from Inside
Maybe that's who
Out
it was. Yeah.
I hope it's just not a play area. That seems so, especially on that side of Future World, because if theming still matters, that's supposed to be, less imagination and more like solid, concrete evidence of like science. In fact, test track technology, going outer space, using energy to harness power, than this thing.
Yeah.
So,
did they say anything about what they're going to do for festival centers?
No, I don't know. Maybe they're thinking they won't need one. Maybe they'll be in Interventions. I don't think there's been any news.
Yeah, Interventions would be good. I'm thinking it'll go to the Odyssey.
Yeah, that could definitely be possible because the Odyssey is not where the new restaurant's going. So
yes, and then Star Wars Land.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
I've seen the movies. I enjoy the original trilogy, but I'm not a huge fan, and I'm not. Counting the days until I can see Star Wars Land like I was with Pandora. The food, we'll start with the food. I was not impressed with any of the food stuff. It just seems kind of boring. But then again, I also don't expect anything fantastic when it comes to Star Wars food. It's not, I guess it is kind of like this foreign alien thing. But
does it remind you at all of the stuff that they sell at Pandora?
Yes, but I think it's a dumbed down version of
less
Pandora.
Exotic, no cheeseburger pods.
It's going to be more popular. So, but even the cheeseburger pods, aren't super crazy. I think it's going to be we know there's going to be a lot of people coming, maybe not as many who want to try something new and different. So it's going to look exotic, but it's not nothing on the menus really impressed me.
I'm excited for the milk.
Yeah, the milk seems interesting. The merchandise seems cool if you're a Star Wars fan, but I would never buy any of that stuff. The lightsabers are going to be $150.
Yeah, but they're
insane. I'm sure they're going to be nice lightsabers.
Yeah, they're not legit, but they're not plastic.
Yeah, so if you're a Star Wars fan, this place is going to be your dream. I think from what I've read about the rides, and I don't want to get into the rides and everything, but it seems like it's going to be both rides are going to be amazing attractions. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to riding them. Probably not in this decade.
Yeah. Did you see the cast member uniforms?
Yeah,
costumes?
I did. I know people kind of flipping out. I like
flipping out in a bad way.
No, good way.
Oh, I like them.
I don't like them. I don't not like them. It's just that's what I would expect.
Yeah. And I said, have you seen the animatronic?
No, I saw something about it, but I didn't.
It looks very good. I don't know. I think it's for Smuggler's Run. I could be completely wrong about that.
I saw the queue. I think you kind of go through the Millennium Falcon, and there's even parts like there's.
Wait, they showed the queue? I didn't see that.
Well, they talked about the queue.
Okay.
So it seems very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Star Wars Land. I probably won't see it like we're going in May. It obviously won't be open. I don't know. The next time I'm at Disney World could possibly be like the 50th. Like I might, if we're going for the 50th, I might take next year off. If we're going to spring for, the Poly for a week, I'll probably go a couple days.
You might do Disneyland.
Yeah, that's true. I'll probably go a couple days next year. I can't. I really can't see myself missing a full year. But I don't see myself hitting Star Wars Land for a while, and I'm okay with that. I mean, those crowds are going to be. I mean, it's just like there's really, I don't think, any significant thing to compare it to of how big those crowds are going to be. It's just going to. I just feel bad for all the cast members. Do you have any friends that are going to be working it?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah, I mean,
they could get a transfer, but
I'm gonna have to say we have to all say a silent prayer for them.
Yeah, once that opens,
it's gonna be a mob, and we'll get a test of it, at least on the East Coast, from when it opens in Disneyland, because I think it opens in like June or July.
Yep. But yeah,
anyways,
that was interesting what you said about the queue talk.
There we go.
Speaking of queues,
it really is.
What are we going to talk about today?
We're talking about the best queues in Disney World. Die-hard Disney fans know that half the fun of an attraction is the queue, looking at all the little details, the hidden references. If there's a story, the story almost always starts in the queue. I'm someone who's like, if I don't get a fast pass for one of the top rides, I'm okay waiting a little while in these queues because they're fun to be in. They're fun to look around. So if you're someone who is like fast pass, if I'm in line, I just run through everything. I'm not looking. Maybe when we talk about some of these things next time, you'll kind of stop, wander a little bit, let people pass by while you're examining, a crack in the wall or a picture on the wall, whatever.
I agree.
You want to start us off, Nick?
Yes. Do you want to just start in Magic? Or?
Yeah, Magic Kingdom.
Okay, so why don't we start off with going into Adventureland and stopping at the Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
Jungle Cruise, I think, is great. You have all the little knickknacks in the Jungle Cruise. You have, especially like even when you walk up to the thing, you have that spider that jumps at you and scares people.
Like the thing I love about the Jungle Cruise is like fans of the Jungle Cruise know that like skippers are kind of incompetent, stupid. They're always screwing things up in the story.
Yes.
Not the cast members. And you can even see it like when you're looking at the roof of the Jungle Cruise. Like the pieces of metal are like just placed haphazardly and colors don't match. It just looks like it was done by people who either don't care or don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like I love that there's a water fountain and it's a crate that contains a live baby piranha. It says just little things like that. And yeah, when you get in, there's a lot of little details showing like the dangers of what a skipper can encounter in the waters of Africa or wherever the Jungle Cruise takes place. There's like missing persons and missing boat sign. Like I love the classic, I leaned over, then right below it, and fell in.
Yeah.
The free kitten sign, and the kittens, might not be super small. I didn't want to explain all the jokes because they're corny to say them, but when you see them and you're kind of enmeshed in the story, it's funnier. Nick's right. There's the spider. There's the employee of the month. Check out the employee of the month. There's the kitchen sign.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that. Just hope you like chicken. There's the gorilla cage with the bars.
Oh, at the exit.
That. Yeah. Is that the exit?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's also great in this queue is Albert Awol.
Yes.
The voice of the jungle, as they call it. This is the radio show that the skippers listen to in the story. And it's usually playing like old-timey music that they would listen to on their cruises, and then Awol will jump in every once in a while and have some stupid pun or a news report about some skippers doing something stupid.
Yeah, see, I love that because I say 90% of the queues in Disney, they just have like a score playing in the background. Nothing really.
This is something
this
extra.
brings the queue more to life.
Yeah.
And the attraction more to life as well.
And I don't know if I assume I was with you, but like I've heard the actual cast members in the queue make similar jokes. I remember someone, they were like, we found a wallet with hundreds of dollars in it, anyone want to claim it, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just I love that they're getting into it too. The only thing I'll say about this queue that I'm not a fan of is it gets hot.
Yeah.
Because it's like that old time, like just wood and not, it's not comfortable. There's
They
no
have the
air conditioner or anything.
fans.
Yeah, they have the fans and it works. But this queue can get long too. But like this is definitely worth, if it's like a half hour, like definitely worth if you've never been through it before, to check out all these funny little things. There's more that we haven't mentioned. It's just, if you're not laughing at this stuff, you're not gonna enjoy the actual attraction.
Yeah.
Because it's corny, it's stupid, but nothing wrong with that. That's what the Jungle Cruise is. If you get into it before you actually get into the boat, because it's gonna be more enjoyable for you. It's gonna be more enjoyable for the skipper, who I feel so bad for those skippers. When it's just a bunch of people just
don't chuckle at the fun.
Yeah.
You said you don't like how hot it gets. I think that's a point for the queue, because
For theming.
yes.
Yeah.
It brings you back. It brings you into it, saying like, this. If this was real, this wasn't going to have an air conditioner.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you might be right.
So
That's a good point.
I think it's a plus. I mean, obviously it's going to get hot.
That's a good point.
You want to do the next one, or anything else you want to save for this one?
No, I love the Jungle Cruise, and we're not going to talk about now, but the Jungle Cruise queue. There's also some connections in the Skipper Canteen.
Yes.
Which is cool that the story carries over to another thing. The second one I think we could talk about is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Now for Pirates of the Caribbean, I think there's better detail cues, but when you smell that water smell in Pirates, and you know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
Nick, obviously.
I bought an air freshener.
Yeah, that's right, and
Right.
and I bet most Disney fans know what I'm talking about, like that water smell, that Pirates of the Caribbean
Yep.
water smell. Like it hits you in a way that you're like it really, like, because you know how like sense is the most powerful smell of taking you back. It's one of those moments where you're like, oh, I'm here, I'm gonna ride pirates. Like it's just so authentic, so simple, and it just gets me in a great mood every time, and it gets me so excited. I love that the song's always playing in the background, different tempos, different speeds. I love that this is the only queue where the Fast Pass queue is better.
I agree.
Because there's two sides. In the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a Spanish fortress, and like you can see cannons on top of the roof. You can see that there's been cannonballs shot through the sail of the attraction sign. So the Fast Pass queue, you go through the dungeon of the fortress, and the standby queue, you go through the soldiers' living quarters. So when the Fast Pass queue, you're going through and you're seeing cannons and cannonballs and stuff. But one of the best things is the dungeon cell window. When you pass by, and if you look down into it, you see two skeletons playing chess, and I love it. It's so it's so easy. There's no audio animatronics. There's no great hidden Mickey or anything, but it's just a fantastic little touch of detail. Two pirates locked in the game of chess for all eternity, and it's something like you can just walk on by.
Never see it.
Yeah, and so I just love every once in a while, someone will just peek their head and be like, oh my God, look down there. Like it's just a little hidden thing, and it just shows like you take the time to check this stuff out, you're gonna be rewarded.
You didn't mention that the pieces were originally set as a stalemate.
They were originally set.
I
know there's been some, like, I don't know if the official version, like I know they were originally set to be eternally stalemate, and I think when it got cleaned or something one day, like they
cast members moved it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the amount of detail. I think it was Mark.
We
Davis.
should check that out.
Yeah, I think it was Mark Davis, one of the legendary Imagineers, who did that. But yeah, that's like the level of detail that they put in. No one is ever going to notice that chessboard.
Oh yeah.
Like even diehard fans, I'd be like,
I don't know what the pieces are at.
Yeah, but
that's
the fact
we should
that
look at, though.
the fact that they put that detail in is just amazing. And something else I love, I know it's in the Fast Pass queue. I don't know if it's in the regular queue. And I don't think you ever heard it, but I caught it on my last trip, where right when you're like about to get into the boat in the loading zone, that's usually when there's not too much detail going on in attractions because people are getting no one's really paying attention. But if you listen real close, you can hear like off in the distance a pirate digging for treasure, like having the shovel in the sand, scooping it out, looking for treasure, mumbling to himself, and singing "Pirate's Life for Me" to himself.
Okay, yeah, I think I have heard that
that.
before.
Yeah,
like a very slow yo.
Yeah, again, it's another little sound thing.
Yes.
Like it's noisy, not paying attention. Just take a second, try and put your ear to the side. Love it.
I agree. And then we go on to Liberty Square for the Haunted Mansion.
Possibly the best queue in Disney World.
Yeah. So one thing I just noticed is like when you walk into the queue where it says wait time, there is like there's a set of bars and there's a little different colored bars that forms a bat.
Mm-hmm.
I showed you that. You knew that already, obviously.
I think I did, yeah.
But just that little detail, like I've gone on that ride probably like almost 100 times.
Oh yeah.
And I've never noticed it until I was watching some video and I just like paused the screen to look at it.
You know what else I love on the entrance sign is when it's a short wait, like no wait, 13 minutes.
Yes, that's hilarious.
Come on, that's again, it's just amazing. And I think they even show it on the Disney app.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty
sure.
sure.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
And then also when you walk in to the queue on your right, you see the horse and carriage.
Oh yeah.
It's just
love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and even like the little things, like again, I've been on this attraction 20, 30 times, and just my last time I was on it, I know it's like in the beginning, there's like the fenced-in garden, and it's just like when you pay attention to it, like it's just untrimmed grass. It's like an aged water fountain tipped over. It's clearly a place that has not been cared for in some time. And then there's like one red rose still available on one of the vines. Just like this one weird, it's like, what's the spirit that's keeping that rose alive? And then you see a rose on Master Gracie's tombstone. Like, come on.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's ridiculous. Another great part about the queue, all the tributes on the gravestones. It's like the Haunted Mansion version of Windows on Main Street.
Do you mean at the end?
No, in the beginning. Like, here lies good old Fred, a great big rock fell on his head.
Right before you actually enter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about an Imagineer, Fred Jorger, something like that. And he dealt in rock design. He designed Big Thunder Mountain. He designed the Canadian Rockies. There's a bunch of those in memory of Grandpa Mark from Mark Davis. Master Gracie laid to rest. Master Gracie was was Imagineer Yale Gracie. He was the master of special effects for that ride. There's so many of those that they're almost always going to be either Imagineers or like voice actors from the ride.
That's so cool. I also like right when the extended queue begins, you have that murder mystery.
Oh, that's so
when
great.
you're like, I never really had anyone like stand with me to try and solve the mystery because we did it once, but
we did it.
But again, it's been so long that I forgot who did what.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. Yeah, I'm not going to go through it, but it's the bust of like the family, and basically like there's a guy and he's Uncle Jacob. You can see, I think he's got like a lot of money.
Is that the first one you should look at?
Yeah, and I think like there's a little sign on his, and it's like he had his treasure, but he was killed for his wealth. So who killed him? And there's little details in each part of the thing.
Of the tombstones.
Look above, look below, look behind.
Mm-hmm.
And you can figure out who killed him and who killed who and who stole from what. It's absolutely amazing. One day, in a later show, maybe we'll go in depth about it. I don't want to do it now. But yeah, like even, the pipe organ that has Ravencroft on the name. And it's Thurl Ravencroft who sings Grim Grinning Ghosts. I love that. How about the footsteps? You like the footsteps, I know. Of the dog?
Nope, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I thought you knew about this. But there's the footsteps of the caretaker. The caretaker you see.
Where is this?
In, on the side close to the rivers of America. When you, if you stepped out, you'd be almost stepping in the water.
Okay.
And it's
vaguely familiar.
You know how after you die in the attraction, you see
him? Yep.
And the dog. You see his footsteps, and then the footsteps of the dog. And there's also a little doggy door in the gate.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I'll have to double check when we go. But yeah, that's amazing.
And how about the wedding ring?
The wedding ring, which wasn't a wedding ring initially.
This is an example of Disney fans creating part of the story. Yeah. And should we go into detail about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
For people who might not know, like the famous wedding ring thing, it's near the captain's crypt, the one, when he sneezes and the water comes out. And the backstory is that the original ring was this leftover piece of metal support in the cement. But guests kept seeing it, and they created the legend that it belonged to the bride in the mansion, who threw out the ring out the window after she would kill one of the husbands. Now it was never an official part of the story, and after the area was paved over for the new queue, there were some passionate Mansion fans online who got upset. I can't believe they got rid of the ring. This is the greatest part of the ride. And Imagineers paid attention to this stuff, and when it was updated again, the ring was brought back and made to look like an actual ring. And now it's so prominent that there's pins made up, like pins about the ring.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and you can get them in Memento Mori. Like that, I think that's just, it shows the dedication of the fans. It shows the dedication of Imagineers caring about the fans and caring about the detail.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love how like fans are, talking about something online, and now you can buy a pin of it. Like
it's beautiful. And then obviously right before you enter the mansion, you see Madame Leota's tombstone. Just look at it for a couple seconds. We don't really want to say what happens, but just keep an eye on it. And then I have a question for you. When does the queue end and the ride begin?
I was going to ask you the same thing. That's a really good question. I think the queue ends when you walk in.
Okay.
I think the stretching room is like the pre-show.
Okay. I was saying, so when you walk in, you see Master Gracie's picture.
That is the end of the like
end
I'd
of the
say
queue.
Master Gracie is the beginning of the attraction.
Okay, it's just the end of the queue. I mean, that's splitting hairs.
Yeah,
but...
yeah, but I don't consider the
So you say when you literally walk inside, you're in the ride.
When those doors close and you hear when hinges creak and doorless chambers, you're on the ride.
Okay.
You're not on the ride, but you're in the attraction.
Yeah, because it's a pre-show.
Yeah.
There's several.
And Mansion is the only one of the few that has a great post queue. Like there's the crypts at the end with all the puns, and then there's the tribute to Mr. Toad. There's the pet cemetery. And Mr. Toad was, if you don't know, he was a beloved Fantasyland attraction, and he was replaced by Winnie the Pooh. Fans were outraged. They were Toad sit-ins where they would literally sit around the attraction. Yeah, wow. And Imagineers loved it too. So they made this tribute to Mr. Toad, and it's rumored that on the tomb, I don't know if it's true, I've never been able to read it, but it's rumored that the thing says, Mr. Toad, here lies Toad, sad but true, not as marketable as Winnie the Pooh, which I really hope that's real.
I love that. I hope it is too. I don't know, because he moved after Irma.
Yeah, he came down a lot.
He came center. He was like top left,
yeah,
way in the back corner, and now he's more in the center, so maybe that's when they switched. Because, I mean, it's really hard to see any writing on it now.
Yeah.
But I assume they had it initially. And that is it for Haunted Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more in.
One more.
Yep.
This isn't as, there isn't as many great details, but I think the queue for, I don't even know the name of it, Under the Sea, is it Under the Sea Voyage of the Little Mermaid? I never get this name right.
Yeah.
Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid? I don't
Journey
know.
with the Little Mermaid, I think that's it.
I just I love the waterfalls, obviously. There's a bunch of tributes and references to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is the original attraction that was there. There's the best Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, so for that is, as you're
take
leaving the ride, right before you exit the exit and start walking on Fantasyland, look to your right, you will see a set of rocks. And you stand at one angle, and all the rocks come together to form a hidden Mickey of Steamboat Willie, which, I mean, is just such brilliant details, but in just something as small as a hidden Mickey.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to find on your own. I certainly needed help. You can go online and there's pictures of it. I've always seen cast members ask people hey, do you know there's a Mickey there? So they definitely know what's going on. So you can ask them. Do you know the story of the water of the attraction?
I do,
you go ahead.
You go ahead. You'll have.
I'm so much better.
You'll have all the details. I'll miss.
20,000 Leagues was the original attraction that was there, and people loved that one too. So when 20,000 Leagues was being destroyed, Imagineers saved some of the water, and they stored it for years. And then when Journey into the whatever it's called opened, Imagineers opened the jars of water and poured it into the attraction. So there's a little piece of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of 20,000 Leagues in the attraction.
And then in the queue, you can see, carved in the rock, one of the rocks, the Nautilus. Is that what it's called?
I think so. I never did 20,000 Leagues.
We were too. I think we were too young.
I don't even know if it was open when we were there.
Yeah, I don't know. And then what I love is another reason to look down, and as you walk in you see just the seashells stuck in the ground, and it's just such brilliant details.
Yeah, and like I love how there's a ship that crashed into the rocks or something, and if you look, you can like the ship is like broken and busted, and the wood even looks like it's been faded in the sun. Yeah. Like just that crazy level of detail again.
Everything about it is, and then like I like the waterfalls, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you go inside. You have the scuttle animatronic.
Yeah, I really don't remember. Like I know that where you start going in the caves, but I haven't been on the ride in a while.
I went when we go in the scuttle and then we go right into the ride. But I went one time in March when I went. It was busy, so they put us into this like circular room that we've never been in before.
Really?
Like,
I know it's a game you play.
Yeah, I guess that's when it's really busy. But I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the gameplay. But I was just standing there like I've never been in this room before, and like I can't believe that there's so many rooms. There's probably a queue that we've done a bunch of times that we've never seen, that we've never been inside like the busy part.
I bet.
Have you been into the place where the fans are, like of Jungle Cruise?
Well, I think I was only because.
Oh, you.
I think I asked someone to go. Can I go over here and check some of the stuff out?
Yeah.
And they're like, I guess if you want. I don't even think I ended up going, but yeah, I've never. Like, because Jungle Cruise, like, I support 100% people checking this stuff out. But if Jungle Cruise is like an hour away, I'm not waiting for Jungle Cruise.
No.
The queue's not that good.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm sure there's. I'm sure there's probably stuff in every one of these ones we've talked about so far that I still don't know, and you still don't know.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
So that's the big four for Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. So then let's go over to Epcot.
We got one in Epcot. Not a crazy huge queue, but it's great theming, great setting. You can lead us off for that one.
I love this queue. Frozen Ever After's queue. You walk in immediately, and you look to your left. You see a picture of Kristoff and Sven, and then you have the decree. Is that the word? Like when they welcome you, and just the detail in that one picture. It's Elsa in the top, and then split in between is an ice skating rink and a melted river with a boat on it. And this isn't confirmed, but I guarantee that on that boat is Flynn Rider and Rapunzel. It's a girl with short, dark hair and a man who has hair like his. And
I believe it 100%.
It looks like he's wearing his getup and stuff like that. And that's not like that's right when you step in to turn left to actually enter the queue. And like it's just all that little detail right when it begins.
That the queue also has a bunch of great little tributes to the Maelstrom.
Yep.
I know Norway has a lot of tributes to the Maelstrom. I'm not sure how many are in the actual queue, but I know of two. There's when you go in
Wandering Oaken.
Yeah, which is a great part of the queue itself. Check out the steam door. We won't say too much, but yeah, just great little extra something.
It looks just like a shop too. Like
it does.
You have
like
the fishes being fermented. Yeah. I just love
and then if you look, if you remember when you would be on the Maelstrom, one of the things was I don't even remember where it was, but it was the big like polar bear like getting ready to attack you or something.
Maybe it was after the drop.
Yeah, I have no idea. But if you look up in the queue, in the shop on like the top shelf, there's a little miniature version of that polar bear.
I would say it's next to the steam door.
No, the steam door is on the left. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you're looking straight up,
it's on the
right corner side. To the on the right. And then
what's the other one?
Do you know the other one?
I forgot it.
It's in the loading area. You got to turn your head. And it's a sign that says warning something 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 and warning Maelstrom sighting, something like that.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I think a Maelstrom's like a storm.
I think so.
So yeah, just two great little references to the old attraction, and that's another queue where like I just love being in it. Like it feels like nighttime.
Yeah, like I legitimately sometimes feel I'm outside.
Yeah,
and it's night out. Yeah, that music. I downloaded the music recently. It is just such good music. Trying to think, did they change the boats, right? It's not just.
I'm pretty sure they did because I remember seeing pictures of the boats like being.
Yeah, I've seen
driven off.
I remember
roads.
that. The boats are beautiful, but I'm trying to think what else from the queue that we.
It's a simple queue, but I do enjoy it.
It's
like,
all
I don't
it's
mind.
all just one room.
Yeah, I really don't like. Even though it's
Zigzag.
What's zigzag? I think there's an official word for it. I don't care. But yeah, like it's got a nice feel to it. It's cool, like as in like temperature wise. I just love the lights. I love the music playing. I think it's a solid queue, and that's the only one we really have for Epcot.
Yeah, none of the other ones really knock our socks
No.
off. If it was the old test track, we would probably talk about that.
I like that one.
But since the refurbishments,
No, it's garbage.
Yeah. Onwards
two
to
or one.
We have two.
Okay.
In Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, you want to do yours?
I'll do the first one. Yeah, the first one is Toy Story Land. It is Toy Story Mania, and I mean it's basically the same queue as its older ride, like when you entered from the other side. But I just love it. It's like you're a toy size. You have these giant pictures that Andy drew of Woody and Buzz and his friends. You have all the toys like the Lincoln Logs, Ants in the Pants, the monkeys, and the best part of it, in my opinion, is the Potato Head animatronic. When they added the third track and got rid of him, like 2 years ago, I was very upset, and I'm glad that he's back for Toy Story Land. I just love. I don't know if he still takes the ear out because that would cause a lot of times it would accidentally fall and then Potato Head would shut down.
That's pretty. I don't even know if I ever saw that.
Yeah, I've only seen it online, but it's so cool to see that. See the animatronic. It was such a new innovative thing when it came out. It's nice to see how far they've gone too from that. But it's just that's a simple cue as well.
Now is in Slinky, what's the penguin's name with the microphone?
Wheezy.
Is he in the ride or the queue?
He's in the ride.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid one. And the other great one in Hollywood Studios, again, one of the maybe best queue in the theme parks is Tower Terror.
Yeah.
It's when you go up to it and it's just grim looking. The lawn is just completely overdone.
Not taken care of. The fountains.
Yeah, fountains dried up. And then when
Anthony
you go,
cries whenever he.
Yeah. I've attempted to go on that ride I think 3 times. I've done it, and I will do it this time because it is a fantastic attraction. Then you go into the lobby of the hotel. First, I love that all the merchandise is just it's a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
There's do not disturb signs and stuff. I have a bell, a bellhop bell.
They have the bellhop costume.
Yeah,
the little hat.
That's fantastic.
They also do the 13-minute wait.
Yes, they do. And it's just dusty. There's cobwebs. There's a 13 diamond award that it got. 13, haha. There's glasses from the famous Twilight Zone episode where the guy he's alone in the world and he got all the books, but then his glasses break, so it's broke glasses. I think there's a mahjong game that people were playing and then they just disappeared. There's music for a song. I think it's called No Mickey Mouse in This Party or something like that.
Really?
There's real hotel luggage from the 1930s that rich people would use.
Yeah, that lobby is just such
I've only been in it once, I think, and
You've only ridden the ride once?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I really got to scan it more because I know we're just scratching the surface of Tower Terror. But there's just and then the boiler room is the second part of the queue.
Before the boiler room, that pre-show thing. One minor detail that I love is the dude's telling the story of how back in the day it's raining a day like today, and there's one window that you just hear the pitter-patter of rain. Sometimes you see lightning and you hear thunder. It's just something off that they don't bring any attention to.
That's great.
But
yeah,
I just love that. And then the boiler room.
And the boiler room's just, again, great. You feel like you're in the basement of a boiler room.
It gets you nervous.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And amped up. I've done it.
I was there twice. And that's when I did the chicken exit.
You did the chicken exit.
Yes.
Now where is the chicken exit?
It's right before you. You get into an elevator and then you go up right for the ride to start.
I think you go up because
I'm pretty sure the chicken exit was at the end of the boiler, and it's just the elevator down.
So what's scarier, a real elevator?
Yeah, I hate elevators. We got stuck on an elevator once, so I kind of hate elevators.
Yeah.
So I probably should have just stayed on the ride.
It's just in the buildup of that ride is.
Yeah.
I would say the ride might begin after that. You go through the. How you your ring around the rosy and you see the family.
I really don't remember.
Don't remember anything about it.
But it's an absolutely great one.
I agree.
All right, and next up we got Animal Kingdom. Again, I've said before, currently maybe my favorite park. The level of detail and theming and story in these attractions, second to none. I mean, any of these 3 could be best in the Like, I think you can argue the top 5 themed queues are the 3 in Animal Kingdom that we're going to talk about: Tower of Terror and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone thought that.
Yeah. Let's start with the newest one, Flight of Passage. No, I've been in the full queue once. How many times have you been? 3 or 4?
5, maybe.
So most of the time when you went to ride it, did you have a fast pass?
Yes, or I snuck on. Yeah, because I remember I snuck on.
Ignore that, cast members.
I snuck on once.
Well, you snuck on with me.
I snuck on to the full queue because the ride was shut down. And,
oh, that's right.
And I snuck on right when it opened up. I caught everyone in line, and so I basically walked on Flight of Passage.
Yeah. The Flight Passage queue is awesome, and the story is like the Pandora Conservation Initiative has allowed humans to come to the top of the mountains to participate in the Avatar program. So you start in the cave filled with old paintings.
Well, before the cave, you have that beautiful scenery.
That's true. Yeah, I consider that more of just
Pandora.
But yeah, you're right. Because you do walk through the mountains, or I don't know if they're mountains, but like the areas of what's the jungle called? The Moara?
Yeah,
right?
Valley Moara.
Valley Moara. Yeah, those great waterfalls. And yeah, so then when you go into the caves, you've got the Banshee pictures. I love like the old-fashioned Banshee pictures. The handprints of the Na'vi, showing like how strong the relationship is and how far back it goes, the relationship between Na'vi and the Banshee. Then you go to through the mountains, and it's like supposed to be like kind of the similar to Pandora After Dark. I wasn't super impressed with that part, but and then you go through the
yes, I agree. Yeah. That are you forgetting the part where it's like the transition from cave to
maybe
it's like you go through that. It's like you go through a giant door, and then you have like that water fountain station, and then you go into that area. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're not mixing this up with Na'vi?
No.
Okay. Because I know there's the water fountain station in Na'vi.
Yeah, no. This is like you enter like not an airlock, but it's like that's the transition right there.
Okay, I don't because I think the only time I've ever been on this was when we were with our aunt and cousins.
Yep.
So I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have.
Yeah.
But then you go into like the lab part, which is the highlight of it.
Yes.
Because you've got all those little experiments going on. You've got some of the books, like there's Pandora Botany, My Connection, Life with the Banshee, which I think is the book that scientist lady,
Dr. Jackie Ogden,
talks about, or I think it's her book. And even the lab, like it's so detailed. There's like notebooks, there's coffee mugs. If you look,
there's drawings.
There's drawings, yeah. If you look at a sign, like there's even a sign with directions to like the basketball court, which showing that they have a basketball court in the lab.
You have the skull of a banshee or the mean banshee in the corner.
The mean banshee?
Yeah, there's like the bad guy, that the orange one.
Okay, I don't see.
I don't know if it's the banshee or him.
I love like the like all those little studies, like the magnetic water one,
the eggs.
Yeah, and then the best is the big Hank in the tank.
Yeah,
I don't know how the name became Hank. I guess because it rhymes with tank.
That's exactly it.
But yeah, and it's a full Avatar. I think it's a animatronic.
I think it is too, because I've stared at it and I see the bubbles.
Yeah,
like his stick under his leg,
and his eyes kind of open. I think, and
I've never seen
starts
that,
to move. I might be wrong,
but he definitely starts to move. Like he's definitely moving.
Yeah.
I think it's real and not a projection.
It's a real person.
Yeah.
And then there's that great portrait, a huge portrait of a Na'vi on a banshee, which is beautiful.
And they have the height indicator.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
Like Na'vi, like it's a height indicator for Na'vi.
Oh,
like the average.
I think I maybe saw that. Yeah. And then you get the priest show, which is just death. It's just 20 minutes.
Too long.
I mean, I understand it. They need to get this is the most popular ride. It takes up a lot of time. It's just so. I mean, it's worth it. It could be double its length, and it's worth it. It's just so freaking long.
Yeah.
And then I do love when you're leaving the queue, when you're leaving the ride. One of the lower levels, you'll pass 3 handprint sets in red paint, and they have initials on the bottom too. And it's the handprints of James Cameron, director of Avatar, John Landau, producer of Avatar.
Landau.
Yeah, and Joe Rohde. Of course, we all know who Joe Rohde is.
The lead Imagineer.
Yeah. So
I talked about that when I met him. I said, "Hey,
guys, I hope you enjoyed the last podcast that we're doing.
But yeah, and then just you walk out and you just walk into Wind Traders, and you have that music playing.
Great music.
And everyone, there's not one person who's walking out of that ride being like, it was.
It is funny.
Like,
yeah, every single person is just their minds are blown. That's hilarious. And I do think we're not going to talk about, but Navi has a solid queue for what it is.
Yep.
It's simple, but it's nice.
Yeah, I don't think it beats anything we've talked about so far.
No, you know what? I do like it, but I'm not prepared to talk about it. But it's worth standing in at least once.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to our last two. Both are in Asia. And the first one we'll talk about is the Kali River Rapids. And the backstory behind this is that it's an ecological rafting trip through the Kali River Rapids, which is the water in Anandapur, which is the little village that you're in when you're in the land of Asia. And it starts like when you're at the Fast Pass place. The owner of Kali River Rapids, her name is Marisha Gurung, and she owns the thing. So if you look up, if you look in the back, you can see a ladder leading up to a door. If you look at the windows, like it shows she doesn't have too much money because the curtains are closed.
That's cool.
Yeah, and since there's a lot of flooding in Anandapur, if we ever do the full story of like Anandapur and stuff, I can talk about that. But Anandapur used to flood, so it's built on stilts. So her house is built on stilts.
Interesting. I did the queue of this ride in October. And yeah, I was just looking around, looking at all the little details.
Yeah. And then you pass through Anandapur's religious temple next. So you'll see prayer flags strung up.
That's my favorite room.
Yeah, that I do love that one. And like some of the things we cover with bells or ribbons. A ribbon is a prayer left by a traveling passenger, and a bell represents a prayer being heard and answered. Then you got it's called the Tiger Temple, the temple you go into, because people honor animals as spirit protectors in Anandapur. So there's a large statue of a tiger. It's the guardian spirit of the kingdom. There's the fountain in the shape of like the snake, which I guess is supposed to be like a king cobra, and it's also a local deity. And it's the spiritual protector of natural springs and rivers. Like, come on, how much like research went into this stuff? It's amazing. So then after a couple more rooms, like you would go into her office, and there's a slide projector displaying like where you're going to go. There's a tape recording of her explaining what the trip is that you're going to go. You can see like the first dollar that she made framed.
That's cool.
And then you go into the next room, which is the loading room, and you hear on the radio that there is like illegal logging, people cutting trees. And you know how it happens in the ride?
In the top, yeah.
Yeah. And they're saying, don't send any more people on the attraction or on the cruise. But if you notice, she's not there. On her desk, there's a sign that says "Gone to Temple." So she's not there. She doesn't hear the warning.
So we're also
so we still go.
That's so
yeah.
cool.
And again, there's like a million little things. When we don't have to talk about every little thing. But there's you would also, before that, you pass through an antique shop, Mr. Panika's Antique Shop, and there's a sign that says "Antiques Made to Order." Like, an antique that just, yeah. Like this queue, like if you get into the story of Anandapur and the environmental aspects of it, it's fantastic. Definitely worth going.
What I like about this queue and the next one we're going to talk about, it's not just related to the ride. It's related to the land.
Oh yeah.
Like even the Pandora one, this just goes to show like anyone who says Animal Kingdom is overrated or doesn't give it the credit it deserves, it just can't be more wrong.
You're absolutely right, and I think it's like I think the time has come for Animal Kingdom deniers or Animal Kingdom naysayers. Like your time is over.
Yeah.
Like people realize now how amazing Animal Kingdom is, and I think it's worth ending with probably my favorite queue, Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about it last time, so I won't go into like an insane amount of detail. But this queue, this is the one that if I have to spend like an hour and a half in it, I actually might do it because there is
that much.
Yeah, that much to look in. It starts like you start in the office of Norbu and Bob, who own the railroad that's going to take you up into the mountains.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
Did you talk about this on here that they're like beds or above
yeah,
us
like
as you enter?
In Nepal, which is where this attraction is based on, shopkeepers would sometimes sleep in their offices. So if you look up in their office, you'll see a ladder going up, and then you'll see a bed and like clothes and stuff.
So cool.
Yeah. You'll see that they're both displaying their touring operation license provided by the Minister of Economic Development. Like there's literally that much detail in the fake touring license. There's framed letters on the wall from important people who have taken the tour and written about how much fun they've had. There's a framed front page paper of the local Anandapur newspaper, and it's telling the story of how the Royal Anandapur Tea Company had to close down because of the fabled Yeti, and how Norbu and Bob reopened it to let people do. Again, all this story is just taking place in this one little area.
Yeah.
And then you go through. There's the Yeti, Yeti temple, and there's a bunch of different. It's like statues of the Yeti, sculptures of the Yeti. They all have, if they have red on the forehead, red is the color of protection in Nepal, so they're asking the Yetis to protect them. The locals are asking the Yetis to protect them. Then you pass through a couple other places, but the highlight is the Yeti Museum. Mm-hmm. And that's a place, like,
that's the best part.
If someone told you this was a real museum, it's like, maybe the Yeti is real, most of the stuff was actually taken from Nepal.
Yeah.
Like, it's actual, authentic
That's
stuff.
also at the entrance, when we get there, at the entrance of where would you get on the train?
Yeah, what about it?
That's all that stuff is real expedition equipment. You know how when you get on the other side of the track.
Oh, really?
You have all that. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever looked at that.
You never seen that? I think you have, and I might be explaining it to you wrong, but it's literally
when
like,
you're actually on the ride.
when you're sitting on the train,
Yeah.
right before you take off. If you look to your right, you'll see equipment.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. So, yeah, and like there's even like the professor who runs the Yeti Museum. Like, he has signs advertising it before you even get into the queue. Like, they're around the Asia land. He's got his degrees from his colleges on the wall. And then there's things like the Yeti interpreting the findings, the Yeti in art and culture, local tales of the Yeti. There's a footprint that was discovered of the Yeti. There's like exhibits of the Yeti's poop.
Yeti dung?
Yeah, Yeti dung. There is an exhibit where this was like the thing. A couple British explorers went up one day, and the only thing that was ever found of them again was their. And this is fake. This isn't anything real. But the only thing that was ever found of them was their ripped up tent and their like smashed canteens and a camera. And you see the pictures in there too of like flashes of the Yeti. And that got.
Where is that in the exhibit? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it's it moves around, I think.
Okay.
Because I think there might be 2 copies because I saw one in the Fast Pass queue too. So I don't know exactly where it is. But the thing I love about the museum also, like, how this used to be a tea company. This is a tea storage room because on the walls it says Royal Anandapur Tea Company.
Yeah, I remember that. That's like right when before you go outside, right? Now, what is in the Fast Pass queue of this? I don't think I've ever done Fast Pass.
Yeah,
for this.
I think I did it for the first time this time. It's basically just a shortened version.
Okay.
So the reason I know this next part is because I'm a maniac and I researched and I got the script that Joe Rohde read from on the opening day of going through this land. So Norbu and Bob, there's 2 offices. So Norbu's is the standby queue, and you go through an office in the Fast Pass queue, and that's Bob's.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And the Fast Pass queue, you don't go through a lot of stuff because you don't need to get merchandise or supplies because you're prepared. You're
going fast.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just brilliant.
Yeah, I know. So there's like little parts of the museum. Like there's like one display, like 2 or 3 displays, but in one area. Mm-hmm. And then there's like the similar signs. Like the professor's got a sign in both parts that says the weight of the evidence leads us to the inevitable conclusion the Yeti is real. Respect him when you're entering his domain. And then I love like the capitalist businessman right below it says, like, don't worry about the warning. We don't agree with this. Just get on the attraction, spend your money, have fun.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've showed you this, and it blew my mind when I saw it that it was actually real. There's patches of expeditions that go up the mountain, and one of them is like Mouseketeering mountain excursions.
I remember that. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's just we could talk about this queue for like another hour. This is also another one with a good post queue because you go into the Circazong Bazaar. It's where you can get all your Yeti merchandise. And then when you leave the place, if you look up, you'll notice that there's wood stacked on the roof. And in Nepal, stacked wood on a roof is a sign of wealth, since wood is very scarce. So this guy, he's got a very successful business. He, merchandise for the Expedition Everest. So he's going to have a lot of wood on his roof.
That's very such detail.
And then there's also like some local tributes to the Yeti, like in the areas around it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, again, that's just like there's some of these queues. There's a feeling, smelling water in Pirates, and there's simple stuff, seeing 2 skeleton statues, and then there's like
the gravestones.
Yeah, tributes, and then there's more technical things, and then there's just like things that aren't moving, like that you just have to look at and find. Like it's just the amount of detail, the amount of different kinds of detail that are in these attractions. That's why, like, the Imagineers put that stuff in. You're doing yourself a service to enjoy it. They did it so you can enjoy it. Next time you're there, take a couple minutes, just check these things out. Because, again, you're going to appreciate it so much more the next time. And then you can tell your friends who are new Disney fans, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out.
Keep on spreading the word.
Yeah.
And that is our episode of our favorite queues. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite queue?
That's a good question. I was actually thinking I might ask that.
I can't think of any that I absolutely despise.
Bad queues. Soren's got a bad queue.
Yeah, I don't hate that because it's kind of like a terminal. Even the exit is like a terminal.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not a fan of Test Tracks.
No, I don't like Test Tracks.
Putting you on the spot.
There's a lot of detail in Big Thunder Mountain's queue, but I almost never do the standby queue. So like I don't like to talk about stuff if I haven't seen it. Like I said, I don't know if it's real or not. But that queue, at least the Fast Pass queue, gets so hot. And it just feels so crowded. I hate standing in it. Great details. I love the stuff after too. Like there's the water springing. But I don't like being in it. I'm not big. Well, Space Mountain's got some good queue stuff.
Oh yeah, Space Mountain's got the music.
Yeah, there's a good story with that. Worst queue might be Soarin' for me, just because I like. Yeah, okay, airport terminal, but like, how boring is that? I know, I get it. I just don't care. And also, the ride sucks now. So
I don't think about that. I'd probably have to go with Test Track as my least favorite.
Yeah, Test Track's a good one. Because I've never done the Samba queue, and that just seems miserable.
It's just making your...
Yeah. Test Track is a good answer for that. I'm just going through all the rides.
All the queues.
Peter Pan would have been the answer.
Yeah, but before they updated that.
You know what? I'm not a huge fan. I don't think it's worth standing in line for Seven Doors. I know there's a lot of interactive stuff.
Yeah, but
it's more for kids, I think, to keep them from
it's
being
not
bored.
Worth it. Yeah, all that stuff's for kids.
I do like the detail in the loading area, like all the equipment and stuff.
I want to thank you all for listening to the episode of All Star Lost Podcast. Let us know what you think. What is your favorite queue? What is your least favorite queue? Are you angry we forgot one? Do you agree with us? Let us know. Instagram Disney Detailer. Let us know all your opinions on the show.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy like hearing about the details and like the backstories, let Nick know on Instagram, because I'm thinking about maybe possibly starting like a website to post some of his stories, because maybe it's better.
That'd be great.
Yeah, like in written form.
Maybe a little blog thing. Yeah, so let us know. Let us hear your opinions on there. We want to thank you all for listening. We will see you next time. Anthony, play us off.
Let's do it. Congaloosh.
Congaloosh.